So I'm Marc Pfitzer, Managing Director of FSG in Geneva, and we're going to talk particularly about the unlocking power of purpose in terms of innovation and the innovation function. It's a delight to welcome Ernesto Ciorra, who is the head of innovation, and I will get to the exact title in a second, at Enel. As you know, Enel is one of the world's largest utilities energy company committed to a transition to decarbonizing energy and providing more access to energy. And Ernesto has had you've had a very long career in innovation, both as a leader of a firm focused on that and of course at Enel. But I'd like to, as ways of introduction, add 3 reasons why I'm so excited to have you here. And we heard in the last session, Vas talk about the magic of purpose. And I know that you are a believer that purpose actually unlocks, brings the best people and actually unlocks the best in people in terms of innovation and creativity. So we look forward to hearing more about that. The other thing I picked up in your talks or in our call is that you like to you like people who contaminate the brains of others, and particularly across experiences or backgrounds, and not least the arts. And Ernesto has actually written a play I picked up that it plays in Italy, and perhaps we can slip a little bit about that if we have time. But also, most interesting is actually your title. So I'd love to start this. So Ernesto, you're Chief Innovability Officer of Enel. So what does that mean? Tell us more about what that means and how it helps fulfill Enel's vision and transition vision.
Yeah, innovability, it's a new word that we have invented at Enel, mixing innovation and sustainability. Because we think that sustainability alone cannot be really achieved. Because if we don't innovate, we die. The companies that don't innovate, they will die. So how can you think that you can achieve sustainability if you don't get survival? That is the aim of sustainability. So innovation is very important and is needed to survive. And Blockbuster, Nokia mobile phones, they know it very well. And they are real cases that you have in your minds. But on the other side, we think that to innovate, we need the most talented people outside the company, because innovation cannot be done without involving the best, the most talented people outside. The researcher, the university professors, the most talented inventors, the start-uppers, and all the dreamers who can provide you with ideas and concrete projects. But the most talented people, they don't work for money. Unfortunately, for many business people who think that money is all, the most talented people, the inventors, the people who changed the history of the humanity, they never did it because they wanted to get money. But they want to get purpose, they want to get some sense of, and they want to leave something of themselves to the humanity and to the mankind. But to attract them, you must be sustainable. So to pursue innovation, you need the most talented people outside. But if you are not sustainable, the most talented people will not work for you, will not help you. So innovation is mandatory to survive. But sustainability is a prerequisite to put in place a real open innovation approach. So we talk about open innovability, that it's a mix of open innovation and sustainability, and we think that if we don't innovate, we can't survive, so we can't be sustainable. But on the other side, if we don't gear our innovation towards a real sustainable value creation, our innovation will be useless. So it's a matter of the business model. How can we change, not only sustain, but change, kill our business model continuously, being alive and being able with technologies, with ideas, with proposals, with projects to create value in the long term. This is not the topic of communication. This is not a topic of, how could I say, only relationship with communities. Communities are an important part, an important stakeholder that can provide us with ideas. Consumers, customers, we can get a lot of them from them. And I have a very fast game that I can share with you that we can do all together. That is aimed at demonstrating that, unfortunately, the most talented people cannot work in your companies. They cannot work in our company. Because after 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, they will have learned a lot of dominant rules, and unfortunately, they will not be able to kill them their business model. So you need people outside the company that can help you. Let's make this fast game all together. Please say loud. I stand up just to this is going down. I stand up just to invite you. What happened? Just to invite you to make this fast game. Please say loud, like at the end of the Super Bowl. Okay? Say loud. What is the result? 1,000 plus 40. Please say loud, not like this. This is loud. Great. And now? And now? 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 5,000. Who say I said 5,000 the first time that Professor De Bono showed it to me? So please raise the hand. Who said 5,000? 5,000? Don't be shy. Don't do like Dr. Strangelove. Okay? Say the truth. Don't do these. Hey. Okay? The majority of you studied mathematics for more than 20 years. I suppose you are 21. Okay, you studied only for 15, but he is at least 30, so he studied for 24 years. But unfortunately, you said 5,000. And how could it possible that in 10 seconds of a dominant rule repeated 4 times, you have canceled 20 years, 30 years of mathematics? This is a very simple sum. If you ask a 7-year-old kid to make this, he will say the result correct, the correct result, that is 4,100. But the majority of you said 5,000. So a 7-year-old kid could be better in mathematics than us. Me, I said 5,000 the first time. Why? Because we are very fast to learn dominant rule. In 10 seconds, I asked your brain to follow a dominant rule 4 times. Add 1,000, add 1,000, add 1,000, add 1,000. Even if you hadn't to add another 1,000, your brain did and made a mistake, a mathematical mistake. How was it possible? 30 years of mathematics canceled 10 seconds of a dominant rule. So if 10 seconds of a dominant rule can cancel 30 years of mathematics, try to imagine what can do 10 years in a company with dominant rules every day repeated. They format your brain. You are limited by your knowledge. You are limited by what you know. And according to what you know, you never think that you can do it differently. But so this is the problem. How can we innovate ourselves, leveraging only on our people, if our people are limited by their brains? 10 seconds can cancel 30 years of mathematics. Mathematics, not the subject, how could I say, questionable. It's not like, oh, I like the tiramisu, or I prefer the pasta. Okay, this is mathematics. It should be objective. But unfortunately, in 10 seconds of a dominant rule, you can kill it. So we must count on people outside the company to change ourselves and to change the business model every day. But how can we do it? Creating purpose, not only for the employees, but for people outside the company. This is another, how could I say, application of the concept of purpose. Not limited to the company, but extended to the ecosystem of the company, involving startuppers, inventors, customers, employees, research centers, and what else? Because only with your ecosystem you can change. So I have a small column on Time magazine, and I've written that the strategy is that we need to think in terms of strategy. Start AG. Because the strategy can be defined, only the starting point of the strategy can be defined by the company, but it should be changed with the ecosystem. Other big companies that can work with you to define new innovations can influence even your strategy, and you must be humble and open to accept that you can't decide anything, even in your company. This is a little bit more than the unboss that I really love and that I have heard before. Because you are even not the boss of your company, because even the world management of the company cannot define the strategy of the company, but it should negotiate it with the partners that outside can influence even the future of the company itself.
Thank you. Fantastic. So the way you see purpose is really about, a contamination, right, of needs, of issues that you have to tackle into the business, and a contamination through people. But maybe let's look at the first part. Your purpose is stated around open power, right? Could you explain what open power is and how open power leads you to redefine what innovation should focus on and where you should be allocating your innovation resources?
For us, the purpose that I call, the purpose is our mantra. And the mantra is something that motivates the emotion of people. Because I think that we are not rational people. We are not rational beings. We are emotional things, and we must be motivated. And our real purpose is not only the open power, but is the SDG number 7. Providing access to energy, reliable, sustainable, affordable access to energy to everybody. So, if you think in terms of reliable, sustainable, and affordable, I mean that we need to reduce the costs of the energy sector to provide a more affordable access to energy. That we need to enhance the efficiency and the innovation of the renewables to be more sustainable. And this is something, when I say reliable, I think about 1,000 people that every year die in hospitals because the grid of the hospital is not stabilized, is not stable. So what we are doing is to stabilize the grids of hospitals in Africa, to implement new technologies, to invest in new technology, to test them, and to provide them the stabilization of the grid. So when they are under surgery, they don't die. Because energy is not a topic far from Novartis. If you treat someone, and if he needs energy to survive, and if you have a blackout, the person dies. If you are under surgery and the blackout happens, the person dies. And from our point of view, providing access, reliable, affordable, sustainable access to energy is the mantra, the corporate mantra that gives us the purpose. And to do this, we need to define a specific, the business model. And the business model is based on this. That's why I am in the investment committee of the group. Every decision for important investment is taken by this investment committee. And I can say no if an investment will be killed, will be disrupted by innovation. And I can say no if this investment is not sustainable. This is a concrete way to manage the governance of the innovability. Not saying, hey, innovability is important, but it's on a side. Moreover, when we do the innovability plan every year, the innovability plan is embedded in the strategic plan. And the strategic plan is embedded in the innovability plan. We work together since the starting point of the strategic plan to generate, to codify the strategic plan and the innovability plan, and the resource that we allocate on the strategic plan of the group. They depend on the innovability of the investments proposed. Just an example, 5 years ago, Starace, the CEO, joined Enel as CEO. He has been appointed as CEO, and I joined Enel as Chief Innovability Officer. Before I was a serial startupper. And we decided in 15 minutes that we had to cancel 6 billion to be invested in fossil fuel new plants. We decided in 15 minutes because we say, hey, this 6 billion allocated by the previous CEO are useless. They are dangerous because these investments will be disrupted by innovation and they are not sustainable. So let's cancel them. So this is a decision that we took according to the new strategic plan that we codified and according to the new Innovability plan that we codified. But they are not two different documents, two different perspectives. They are the same one, because you can't define the strategic plan if you are not taking care about innovation and sustainability. Moreover, every year we identify the strategic plan and we codify the specific KPIs that we want to improve. So reliable access to energy, we need to reduce the costs. So creating access to energy to everybody, we need to increase the number of projects that we do in remote areas, in rural areas to provide access to energy. So we define KPIs of the strategic plan, and according to the KPIs of the strategic plan, we assign the MBOs of the Innovability people. They must they must manage projects that are able to better the figures of the strategic plan. But we keep on aside the 10% of the investments that can be invested, that can be put in something that is out of the strategic plan. Because we must be able to invest in something that we don't know.
That's great. And so your goals define the challenges that the innovators have to focus on. And that's where you bring the contamination through people as well, because you have this open innovation platform. So could you explain what that is and how that plays both, I guess, into the 90% that's structured and as well the 10% that's the stuff you don't know?
Thanks. Yeah. We have a platform that is openinnovability.com. It's a website. Apparently it's just a website, but it isn't. According to this website, with this website you can find our technological and social challenges. What we are trying to do that we are not able to do. So we look for ideas, projects, and from startups, big companies, NGOs, research centers, associations like Greenpeace, for example, or Amnesty, and we say to them publicly, hey, these are our challenges, these are the rewards that we have, and let's work together to better the world. And Open Innovability is a platform that is open even to your companies. If you want to launch challenges, they are welcome. We have collected more than 1,500 ideas from more than 92, I don't remember exactly, countries. And we have made an alliance with Innocentive, that is the most important crowdsourcing platform in the world. Just the NASA, for example, has launched more than 500 challenges on Innocentive because we wanted to merge our communities. And we have a community of more than 400,000 people who can provide us with ideas and projects. Can
you give examples of breakthroughs that are coming through that platform?
I can give you a lot of examples, but just one. We were studying with universities for 20 years how we can reduce the usage of a specific chemical ingredient in geothermal plants. So it's something very detailed. Unfortunately, all the universities focused on geothermal energy in the world were not able to find a solution. We have launched this challenge, and we say, hey, who can provide us with the solution will get $20,000. And a researcher in biology, bioscience, she never visited any geothermal plant. She provided us with an ingenious idea that we have implemented, saving a year, more or less, $40 million US, and a year, so it's around saving, and reducing the pollution of the pollution of the land in a geothermal plant, because this chemical ingredient could a little bit pollute the field. So a better environmental impact, a better economical impact, spending only $20,000 and having this researcher very happy because she found the solution in 2 days. And we felt as stupid people because for 20 years we weren't able. And I give you another example. We asked MIT, hey, is it possible to hybridize geothermal energy with concentrated solar plant with a photovoltaic plant? And they asked us a lot of money. Okay, we are in Boston, we love them, but okay. And after some years, they came back with this simply answer, no. We were a little bit disappointed, and we asked, hey, please, can you detail us why not? And they told us, why, for this, this, and this. We transformed these 3 no's into 3 challenges. We asked the crowd, hey, please provide us with solutions. We found one solution from one employee. We found another solution from a startup from Israel, another solution from an engineer. He was a submarine nuclear engineer in the US Army. And he provided us with the 3rd solution. We have implemented the first worldwide geothermal plant hybridized with photovoltaic and solar, concentrated solar plant in the United States. And MIT asked us, hey, can we check how was it possible that those guys from Italy were able to implement something that we consider impossible? And we say, hey, you are invited, you can come, but we will never pay for your traveling cost. You have to pay for them. And the Energy Association, the Geothermal US Energy Association awarded us with the most innovative plant in the world. It was possible, even if MIT said it was impossible. And this is innovation? Yes, 3 technology innovation. This is sustainability? If you are able to mix 3 renewables and to have a greater efficiency, you can better the world. You can better exploit your geothermal plant. This is sustainability.
Wonderful.
How can you distinguish?
Great.
We can't think something, if we think really, and we look really in the deep at our projects, in the 95% of projects, we can't distinguish if this is a matter of sustainability or it's a matter of innovation. We are providing access to energy to people without any energy access, but we are testing new technologies. If we come to Boston and we say, hey, we provide you with access to energy for 23 hours a day, no, you can kill me. You need the energy for 24 hours a day. But if we go to 3,007 meters below the sea in Chile, where there isn't any energy access, and we provide access to energy for 23 hours a day, we're testing new hydrogen-based technology and a lot of new technologies that we did in Ogliague. And we involve people of the village on the maintenance of this plant, on the upgrade of this plant. And we provide labor, an opportunity to work for them. They are very happy with us, but we are testing new technologies. It's a lab. This is innovation. No, this is sustainability. So
Great.
People can fight, but no, we have decided to avoid to fight. So we merged the whole team, so people from innovation and sustainability there in a unique team.
Wonderful. So I knew preparing this session with Ernesto that it was going to be really hard to have just a small dose of Ernesto, because as soon as you get a small dose, you want a bit much larger one. But do we have time just for a couple questions for the audience? And I want to make sure we have a chance to do that as well before we move on. Questions for Ernesto on how Enel's purpose is driving innovation?
Just a
Innovability.
quick mention to our organizational structure.
Yes.
In every business line, in every function, there is the head of innovability, is under me and under the global head of this business line of function. So innovability is embedded in the organization. It's not on a side. You haven't sustainability on a side and the rest of the business. You haven't innovation on a side and the rest of the business. I am directly under the CEO, and in every function, HR, finance, digital area, or even accounting, audit, they have the innovability manager. And the global business line of distribution and network, global generation, thermal generation, global renewables, they have the innovability manager. This innovability manager with the matrix approach is under me and under the head of the function, because he is the real sustainability manager. The head of the business line and the CEO is the real chief innovability officer.
Great. Yes, please, Bobby.
If you guys can turn on my mic back there.
Oh, you have to join this one.
Oh, there's one coming.
Okay, great.
Ernesto, thank you so much. So you were just talking about talent. Is it hard to attract talent with the way that you think about innovation and sustainability combined? Because it's a little different than other companies. And so do you have to recruit talent and teach them your way, or are you finding that this talent is out there, you just need to raise your hand and ask them to come join you?
I think that the new generation wants to give a sense to their life, and they want to work and to share their life with an organization that can give them a real purpose. So my answer is that it isn't hard to attract the best talents. But the mistake, the cultural mistake could be that you need to hire them. It could be even dangerous to hire them. Because even me, I was in doubts if I could be hired by Enel. Because I was an entrepreneur for 20 years. So being in a big company, I was a little bit scared. Okay? And so you can even pollute their minds if you hire them. So involving people is not hiring, not only hiring. We are doing a lot of, we are working on innovability, on the strategy, the process, the operations, and the culture of people. But those 4 items are not related only to people working for Enel, in Enel, are related to the whole ecosystem. So we have launched, for example, the My Best Failure program that Google has asked if they can copy, and we say yes. We share the failure, and because if we share the failure, we will not do the same failure again, and people can learn. And we reward the people with the most interesting failure. But we are gathering failures, not only from colleagues, but failures from our partners. Because if you fail before, why should I fail again in the same way? I can fail different, and after I can share with you. So we can reduce the number of failures, or we can increase the total number of failures. And as we share ideas, if I share with you an idea and you share with me another idea, we will have 2 ideas, but I have not paid anything. So the cultural revolution is not only considering people who are in your company, but people who can work for your company. People from Greenpeace can work for Enel. Why not? And we can get a lot from them, even when they attack us because they help us. But working for them is attracting them. If you have a sense of purpose, they follow you. And if you are not coherent with your sense of purpose, they attack you. This is great. But they make their role, and we are very happy to have them on our side, because without them, we can't really make this sustainable path, creating a sustainable value.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. I think we've got pardon me? There is a question I didn't see in the back. I'm sorry. Please, right here. Peter, yes.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. I was just interested in where does a research and development plan start and an innovability plan finish? Are they the same? How do you distinguish between the 2?
The innovability plan is made with the research and development plan and the sustainability plan that we do with communities, with shareholders, with employees, with customers. So the innovability plan is a bunch of them. And we have a unique plan, not 2 plans. Because innovation should be aimed at creating a sustainable value. And on the other side, if we involve the right people, the right communities, we get ideas from them. So we can't distinguish them. And the innovability plan is part of the strategic plan of the group. And the strategic plan of the group has specific figures that we have in the innovability plan that are assigned as MBOs to our innovability managers. And just for example, if I find a startup that is useful for him, and he is the leader of renewables, under him there is the head of innovation of renewables. And if he doesn't take a look at this startup, he doesn't get the MBO. So, but if the startup can reduce the cost of renewables, we are doing something that is innovative, and that makes us more sustainable. So this figure, reducing the cost of installation, for example, of a solar plant, and we are doing it with robots, with drones, with a lot of technologies, wearables. This is sustainability. We reduce the cost of renewables thanks to innovation, thanks to technology, but this is sustainability.
Thank you. Question right here in front. No more questions. Okay, I've been asked to move on. Ernesto, fantastic.
She was doing this. After 1 minute, she could do this. So
I think your leadership, a wonderful illustration of how purpose opens up potential for people to join the journey of Enel and its transition. And I hope there'll be more opportunities in the room here to open discussion.
I didn't say that the pre-cultural condition is being humble. Because if you are not humble, you don't think that people outside the company can help you.
Great,
Thanks.
wonderful, Ernesto.